Have you ever met someone who seems calm, quiet, and maybe even a little shy? But somehow you just know there's so much more going on beneath the surface. Like they're holding back an entire novel's worth of emotion, thought, and imagination, all behind a soft smile or a distant gaze? That, my friend, might be an INFP. And if you think you've got them figured out based on their quiet demeanor, think again. INFPs, introverted, intuitive, feeling, perceiving, are known as the mediators or the idealists in the MBTI world. But those labels barely begin to capture the complex, deeply emotional, and often contradictory nature of these rare souls. They're walking paradoxes, gentle but intense, private yet deeply curious about others, dreamy and idealistic but capable of profound emotional depth. In this video, we're going deep into the hidden world of the INFP. We're talking about the quiet patterns they don't even realize they have, the emotional reflexes they've never explained out loud, and the secret ways they move through the world that most people miss entirely. These are the 11 hidden behaviors INFPs do, and by the end of this video, you'll never look at an INFP the same way again. Chapter 1. They replay conversations like they're editing a movie script. After every conversation, yes, even the small ones, INFPs will often go home and replay the interaction in their mind. They'll recall what they said, what the other person said, how they felt in the moment, and what they should have said instead. This isn't just reminiscing, it's intense emotional editing. It's like their brain is a theater, and they're both the actor and the director trying to reshoot the scene for a better outcome. They don't just remember what was said, they analyze how it was said, and what it meant underneath the words. This internal dialogue can sometimes go on for hours or even days, especially if the conversation touched something emotional or left them feeling misunderstood. INFPs are constantly reviewing and revising their inner script, not because they're insecure, but because they're always striving for emotional clarity. Maturity. 2. They absorb other people's emotions, like a sponge. You might think you're hiding your stress or sadness well, but if there's an INFP in the room, chances are they feel it, even if you say nothing at all. They may not show it, but your emotional state becomes theirs. This makes INFPs amazing empathizers. They'll feel your hurt as if it were their own, and they'll go out of their way to help, even if it drains them. What people often don't realize is that this behavior is automatic for the INFP. They don't choose to absorb emotions, it just happens. The downside? Emotional exhaustion. If they're around negativity too long, they can feel overwhelmed and need to retreat just to reset their emotional equilibrium. But 3. They create secret fantasy worlds and live in them often. An INFP can be staring out a window, and on the surface it looks like they're zoning out. But what's actually happening is far more magical. Inside, they could be navigating an imaginary forest, writing dialogue for characters they've invented, solving philosophical dilemmas, or replaying a love story that never happened but could have. INFPs spend a good chunk of their lives in their imagination. These aren't idle daydreams, they're vivid, emotional, and deeply personal. And in those worlds, INFPs find relief, meaning, and clarity that they often can't find in the real world. It's a coping mechanism, a creative engine, and a source of joy all at once. Or 4. They vanish to recharge, but it's not personal. One of the most confusing behaviors for people close to INFPs is when they suddenly go silent, stop responding to texts, or pull away socially. But this vanishing act isn't personal, it's essential. INFPs need solitude like plants need sunlight. It's how they process emotions, rest from social stimulation, and reconnect with themselves. This retreat isn't about avoiding people, it's about emotional survival. In fact, pushing an INFP to talk when they've withdrawn can make things worse. Respect their space, and they'll come back when they're ready, with renewed energy and appreciation for your understanding. 5. They romanticize the little things. INFPs don't need grand gestures or dramatic events to feel wonder. They see beauty in everyday moments. A sunbeam hitting the kitchen counter, a stranger helping someone cross the street, or the sound of pages turning in a quiet room. This tendency to romanticize life gives them a poetic, almost spiritual lens through which they view the world. A single moment can inspire a story, a painting, or a full emotional epiphany. And while others may call it overthinking or being too sensitive, for the INFP, it's simply the way they experience the world, with depth, feeling, and awe. 6. They're their own harshest critics. To others, INFPs may seem gentle, forgiving, and full of compassion. And they are, all except when it comes to themselves. They hold themselves to incredibly high internal standards, And when they fall short, they don't just feel disappointment, they feel shame. They'll dwell on their mistakes long after everyone else has moved on. It's not about perfectionism in the external sense. It's about moral perfectionism. INFPs want to be true to their values, to do the right thing, and to never hurt anyone. When they fail to live up to that ideal, it eats at them from the inside. 7. They're quiet rebels with unshakable values. You may not see them picket or shout in protest, but make no mistake, INFPs have strong opinions and unshakable beliefs. If a rule, authority figure, or tradition clashes with their inner values, they'll resist, quietly, but powerfully. They'll find loopholes. They'll opt out. They'll build their own path. It's not about rebellion for rebellion's sake. It's about authenticity. This hidden behavior shows up in career choices, relationships, and even fashion. INFPs refuse to conform just to fit in. They'll bend over backward to avoid conflict, but if you cross a moral line, they'll surprise you with how fiercely they stand their ground. 8. They form intense emotional bonds with fictional characters. If you've ever seen an INFP cry over a book or feel emotionally wrecked after finishing a movie, this is why. INFPs often relate more deeply to fictional characters than to people in their daily lives. That's because those characters give them a safe space to explore emotions, identity, and morality without the vulnerability of real-world relationships. They may reread their favorite scenes dozens of times, write fan fiction, or create entire playlists dedicated to a character's emotional journey. For the INFP, fiction isn't an escape, it's an emotional home. 9. They constantly question themselves, then rise again. NFPs go through cycles of deep confidence and deep doubt. One moment, they believe they're destined to create something meaningful or change the world. The next, they feel like a complete imposter. These emotional highs and lows are part of their nature. Because they feel everything so strongly, even minor setbacks can spiral into existential questioning. But what's beautiful is this: they always come back. They rise again with new insights, new dreams, and a deeper understanding of themselves. It's this cycle of breaking and rebuilding that gives INFPs their resilience and wisdom. 10. They read between the lines of everything. FPs don't just hear what you say, they hear what you don't say. They notice the hesitation in your voice, the way your eyes drift away, the energy shift in the room. They're tuned into subtext, body language, and tone. They might not confront you about it, but they're absolutely taking mental notes. This behavior makes them incredible at comforting others because they can sense pain before it's spoken. It also means they're easily hurt by passive-aggressive comments or vibes that others miss. They don't just listen with their ears, they listen with their heart. 11. They crave soulmate-level connections, but fear vulnerability. NFPs want connection that's real, raw, and deep. They're not interested in surface-level friendships or casual flings. They want the kind of bond where two souls see each other completely. But here's the catch. That level of connection requires massive vulnerability, and that terrifies them. They often test people first. They'll share a small piece of their heart, a story, a poem, a truth, and watch how you react. If you respond with genuine care and openness, they'll begin to trust you. But if you dismiss or mock their vulnerability, they'll retreat behind emotional walls, sometimes for good. They don't open up easily, but when they do, it's sacred. So now you know, INFPs are much more than dreamy introverts. They're deep-feeling, quietly rebellious, emotionally complex souls who experience the world in high definition. Their hidden behaviors may be subtle, but they're deeply rooted in who they are, and they shape every part of how they move through the world. If you're an INFP, I hope this video made you feel seen. If you're close to one, I hope it helped you understand them better. These quiet dreamers may not always speak up, but their hearts speak volumes, if you know how to listen. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss a deep dive like this. And drop a comment below. Which of these hidden INFP behaviors do you relate to the most? Or which one surprised you? Thanks for watching, and remember, the quietest people often have the loudest hearts.